20 things poor people do that rich people don't. Let's dive into a discussion about habits and behaviors that often separate people who struggle financially from those who build wealth. This isn't about judging anyone, it's about understanding what keeps some people stuck while others climb towards success. The idea here is to look at everyday choices and mindsets, figure out what might be holding you back, and think about how small changes could make a big difference. Some might feel annoyed by this topic, thinking it's unfair to point fingers, but the goal isn't to blame. Instead, it's to offer ideas for anyone who wants to improve their life. To make this useful, insights have been gathered from successful folks, think millionaires and mentors, who've shared what they've noticed about how poor and rich people act differently. Of course, not every poor person does these things, and not every rich person avoids them. Life's messy like that, but spotting these patterns could give you an advantage if you're aiming for financial freedom. Part 1. Poor people watch a lot of TV. One of the biggest differences between people who struggle financially and those who have built substantial wealth is how they choose to spend their downtime, particularly when it comes to watching television. Folks with lower incomes often find themselves parked in front of the TV for hours, soaking up everything from reality shows to celebrity gossip to weekly sitcoms. Studies show that the average American spends more than 4 hours a day watching TV, and that number climbs even higher in lower-income households. For many, it's a go-to activity, flipping on shows like The Real Housewives or Survivor to unwind or escape the grind. But here's the catch. While it might feel like a break, it's eating up time that could be spent chasing goals, learning something new, or building a better future. Wealthy individuals, on the other hand, rarely let TV dominate their schedules. Instead of being glued to the screen, they're more likely to be the ones creating something worth watching, whether that's a business, a product, or a personal brand. This isn't just about wasting time, it's about what TV does to your mindset. For a lot of people, it's a way to tune out life's problems rather than tackle them. Picture someone coming home after a long shift, kicking back with a beer, and watching The Big Bang Theory or scrolling through channels to catch up on the latest Hollywood breakup. It's relaxing in the moment, sure, but it's also a passive habit that doesn't move the needle forward. The wealthy see time differently. They treat it like an investment. Research from the Bureau of Labor Statistics backs this up. People earning less than $20,000 a year spend nearly twice as much time on leisure activities like TV compared to those pulling in over $100,000, who tend to focus on things that pay off, like reading, networking, or working on side projects. For example, someone like Elon Musk has said he barely watches TV, preferring to dive into books or brainstorm his next big idea. The content itself is another factor. Knowing which celebrity is dating who or what drama unfolded on the latest episode of Dancing with the Stars doesn't add anything meaningful to your life. It's fluff. Fun maybe, but ultimately it's just noise that keeps you distracted while the rich keep climbing. Even news channels, which might seem useful, come with a downside. Most of them, think CNN, Fox, or MSNBC, push a slant, cherry-picking stories and spinning them to fit their audience's worldview. A 2022 study from the American Press Institute found that 70% of Americans notice bias in TV news, yet many still rely on it. Wealthy people often skip this trap altogether. They'll use the internet instead, maybe hopping on X to see raw opinions or skimming headlines from multiple sources in 10 minutes flat. That way, they get the gist without drowning in someone else's agenda. Take Warren Buffett. He's known for spending hours reading financial reports, not watching pundits argue on cable. There's also a social angle to this. Poor folks might lean on TV as a cheap way to bond, watching the Super Bowl or a new Netflix drop with friends. It's affordable entertainment when money's tight. But the rich? They're more likely to spend that time at a dinner with influential people or a seminar where ideas spark. The contrast is stark. One group's debating who's getting eliminated from American Idol, while the other's plotting their next million-dollar move. A Nielsen report found that households earning under $25,000 watch about 211 hours of TV a month, almost 9 full days, while higher earners cut that number way down. It's not about snobbery, it's about priorities. John Lennon once said, "Time you enjoy wasting is not wasted time." And sure, there's truth there if you're genuinely loving it. But if you're honest, is zoning out to reruns really your idea of a fulfilling life? For the wealthy, the answer's usually no. They'd rather be building than watching. Part 2. Poor people. Eat fast food. Another clear divide between those who struggle financially and those who thrive is their approach to food, specifically, how often less wealthy individuals rely on fast food. People with limited incomes frequently turn to chains like McDonald's, Burger King, or KFC, drawn in by the promise of a quick, cheap meal. A double cheeseburger might only set you back a couple of bucks, and when you're juggling bills or working long hours, that convenience is hard to resist. The CDC says about 36% of American adults eat fast food every day, with the numbers jumping higher among lower income groups. For many, it's not just an occasional treat, it's a lifeline. A single mom working 2 jobs might grab a Happy Meal for her kids because it's fast and fits her budget. But the cost isn't just in dollars, it's in health. These meals are loaded with sugar, unhealthy fats, and sodium. Think 200 milligrams in a Big Mac alone, half your daily limit, while offering almost no vitamins or nutrients to keep you strong. Wealthy people, by contrast, treat their bodies like high-performance machines. They're more likely to cook at home, hit up a Whole Foods for organic veggies, or even hire a chef to whip up something tailored to their needs. Take someone like Oprah Winfrey. She's talked openly about growing her own produce and focusing on balanced meals to stay sharp. It's not just about money, it's about seeing health as a cornerstone of success. Fast food's damage goes beyond the waistline. It fogs your brain, saps your energy, and can even tank your mood. A 2018 study in the journal Public Health Nutrition linked frequent fast food consumption to higher rates of depression and anxiety, which can derail everything from your job performance to your love life. Imagine trying to pitch a business idea or charm a date when you're sluggish from a greasy combo meal. It's not a winning formula. The gap starts with awareness. Many poorer folks don't know, or don't have the time to care, what's in their food. A typical fast food order might pack 1,000 calories with little nutritional punch, while a home-cooked dish like grilled salmon and quinoa keeps you firing on all cylinders. Education plays a role here. A 2021 report from the USDA found that lower-income households are less likely to have access to nutrition info or cooking skills, often because they're stuck in food deserts, areas where fresh groceries are scarce but drive-thrus are everywhere. Wealthier people, meanwhile, have the resources to learn. They might follow a nutritionist on Instagram, read up on superfoods, or even take a cooking class. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, for instance, famously eats 6 meals a day: cod, sweet potatoes, veggies, all planned out to fuel his empire building. Then there's the ripple effect. Poor health from a fast food diet can mean more sick days, lower productivity, and even a hit to your confidence, things the rich can't afford to lose. The American Heart Association warns that diets heavy in processed junk raise your risk of heart disease and diabetes, which hit lower-income communities hardest. In 2020, medical costs tied to obesity topped $260 billion in the US, and guess who's footing more of that bill? Not the millionaires with private gyms. Fast food might save you a few bucks today, but it's a debt you pay later, physically, mentally, and financially. Wealthy folks get this. They'd rather invest in a salad than a value menu, knowing it'll pay dividends in energy and focus. For the less fortunate, breaking that cycle starts with small steps, swapping fries for an apple maybe, but it's a shift that could change everything. Part 3. Poor people buy on sale. When it comes to spending habits, a noticeable difference emerges between those with less money and those who've built wealth. Poorer individuals often chase sales, while the rich focus on growing their income. For someone scraping by, snagging a deal feels like a win. Grabbing a pair of jeans marked down to 15s or a discounted TV during Black Friday stretches a tight budget. It's a survival tactic, and it makes sense when every dollar counts. A 2023 survey from the National Retail Federation found that lower-income shoppers, those earning under $35,000 a year, are twice as likely to wait for sales compared to higher earners. They'll scour clearance racks at stores like Walmart or Target, hunting for anything that's been slashed in price, from clothes to kitchen gadgets. The logic is simple. If you've only got so much cash, you make it go as far as possible. Wealthy people, though, play a different game. They don't waste energy chasing markdowns. They're too busy figuring out how to make more money to begin with. Instead of buying a $20 shirt on sale, they'd rather invest that $20 in something that could turn into $200, like stocks or a side hustle. Take a guy like Mark Cuban. He said he didn't get rich by pinching pennies on cheap stuff. He got there by betting on ideas and opportunities. The stuff that ends up on sale, It's usually what full-price buyers passed on, last season's trends, or overstocked items nobody wanted at regular cost. So, when you're decked out in clearance gear, you might unintentionally signal, "I can't afford better," while the rich aim to project value and confidence, even if it means paying full price for quality. A tailored suit from Brooks Brothers beats a rack find from TJ Maxx in their book. This mindset ties into bigger priorities. Poorer folks often see shopping as a way to conserve what little they have. Every sale item is a small victory against a shrinking bank account, but the wealthy see spending as a tool to build, not just maintain. There's a practical side to this too. Sales can trap you in a cycle of buying stuff you don't need just because it's cheap. Retailers know this. Psychology studies, like one from the Journal of Consumer Research, show that deal tags trigger impulse buys, especially among budget-conscious shoppers. Ever walked into a store for one thing and left with a cart full of half-off junk? That's the trap. Wealthy people dodge it by sticking to what aligns with their goals, not what's flashing a red tag. For example, Jeff Bezos reportedly doesn't fuss over small savings. He's focused on Amazon's next billion-dollar move. The takeaway? Chasing sales might keep you afloat, but chasing income growth can lift you out. Start small. Skip the clearance aisle once and put that cash toward a skill or idea instead. It's a shift from saving pennies to stacking dollars. Part 4. Poor people wake up late. A key habit that sets apart those with less money from those who amassed wealth is their approach to mornings, specifically how late poorer individuals tend to wake up compared to the rich. For many struggling financially, sleeping in is common, especially in their younger years. Maybe it's because of late-night shifts, exhaustion from juggling multiple jobs, or just a lack of urgency to start the day. A 2019 study from the National Sleep Foundation found that lower-income adults average about 6.5 hours of sleep and often don't rise until 8 or 9 a.m., sometimes later if they're not tied to a strict schedule. Contrast that with someone like Tim Cook, Apple's CEO, who's up by 4:30 a.m. to tackle emails and hit the gym, or Dwayne Johnson, who's grinding by 5 a.m. The wealthy see those early hours as gold, quiet time to think, plan, or get ahead before the world wakes up. This isn't just about discipline, it's about what waking up late says about your priorities. In your teens or 20s, hitting snooze until noon might feel like a reward after a rough week, but it's also a missed chance to build something lasting. Research from the American Time Use Survey shows that people earning under $25,000 a year spend more morning hours on personal care, aka sleeping or lounging, than those earning six figures who dedicate that time to work or self-improvement. The rich figured out early that getting up with the sun, or before it, gives you an edge. Think of Elon Musk. He said he pulls all-nighters when needed, but on regular days, he's up by 7 a.m. At the latest, diving into Tesla or SpaceX challenges. Meanwhile, sleeping in can leave you playing catch-up, reacting to the day instead of shaping it. Why does this gap exist? For one, poorer folks often face practical hurdles. Maybe they're up late working a night shift at a warehouse, or can't afford childcare to free up mornings. But there's also a mindset piece. Waking up late can signal a lack of drive or structure, especially when youth is the time to plant seeds for later success. A study from the University of Chicago found that early risers tend to have higher GPAs and better job prospects long-term, habits that compound over decades. The rich lean into this. Warren Buffett's been known to start his day reading newspapers and financial reports by 6:45 a.m., sharpening his mind while others snooze. For them, mornings aren't for rest, they're for growth. The consequences pile up too. Sleeping in might mean skipping breakfast, hurting focus, rushing to work, adding stress, or missing quiet hours to learn a skill or side hustle. Over time, that lost momentum can leave you miles behind. The paradox is brutal. Those who slack off early often end up working harder later just to survive, while early risers build a cushion of success. Look at history's giants. Benjamin Franklin was up at 5 a.m., preaching early to bed, early to rise for a reason. It's not about being a morning person, it's about owning your day. If you're stuck in a late wake rut, try setting the alarm 30 minutes earlier each week. Small wins add up. If you're stuck in a late wake rut, try setting the alarm 30 minutes earlier each week. Small wins add up, and soon you're ahead of the game, not chasing it. Part 5. Poor people obsess over sports. Another habit that separates those with less money from the wealthy is their relationship with sports. poorer individuals often sink a ton of time into watching games, while the rich typically don't unless they're directly involved. For many on a tight budget, sports are a big deal. Think Sunday afternoons glued to NFL matchups, March Madness brackets, or late nights cheering on the NBA Finals. Wealthy people see sports differently. They're not camped out for hours watching someone else play. They'd rather be the ones making moves. Take Mark Cuban. He owns the Dallas Mavericks, so his sports time is business, not leisure. For the average fan, it's pure escapism. Your team wins or loses, but you've got no skin in the game. A study from the Journal of Behavioral and Experimental Economics suggests that excessive sports viewing correlates with lower productivity, especially among lower-income men who spend up to 15 hours a week on games. That's time the rich redirect elsewhere, maybe negotiating a deal or hitting the gym themselves. Oprah's not dissecting last night's box score, she's building her media empire. This isn't to knock the fun of sports. There's joy in rooting for your team, and moments like the World Series can bring people together. But the trap is in the excess. If you're tracking every inning or replay, you're a spectator, not a player in your own life. The wealthy get this. They'd rather control outcomes than cheer for them. Look at someone like Michael Jordan. He didn't just watch basketball, he dominated it, then turned that into a billion-dollar brand. Meanwhile, obsessing over stats or fantasy leagues can bleed into your mindset. Passivity sticks, and soon you're critiquing others' hustle instead of building your own. There's a practical side too. Sports culture can drain more than time. It hits your wallet with cable bills, jerseys, or beers at the bar. For poorer folks, it's an affordable thrill, but it adds up. The rich, they might catch a game live in a luxury box, or skip it entirely for something with a return. Arnold Schwarzenegger, a bodybuilding legend turned mogul, once said he never had time for TV sports growing up. He was too busy lifting weights and plotting his Hollywood takeover. The lesson? Enjoy the game, but don't let it own you. Swap a few hours of ESPN for a podcast on investing or a workout, and you're not just watching winners, you're becoming one. Part 6. Poor people skip showers. One surprising difference between those with less money and the wealthy is personal hygiene, specifically how often poorer folks shower compared to their richer counterparts. It might sound odd at first, but data backs it up. People with lower incomes tend to bathe less frequently. A 2018 study from the American Cleaning Institute found that only about 50% of adults in households earning under $25,000 shower daily, compared to over 70% in homes making $75,000 or more. For some, it's logistics. Maybe they're crashing on a couch with no bathroom access, or working grueling hours that leave little time for self-care. For others, it's just not a priority. But the wealthy, they treat grooming like a non-negotiable. Someone like Richard Branson's not stepping into a meeting unshowered. He's polished because he knows it matters. This isn't about vanity, it's about how you're perceived. Most jobs today, especially in service industries like retail or hospitality, involve face-to-face interaction. If you're not clean, it shows. Body odor or greasy hair can make people trust you less, avoid you, or flat out not want to work with you. A 2020 psychology study from the University of Michigan found that poor hygiene slashes your approachability by 40%, a killer in networking or sales. Wealthy folks get this instinctively. A shower isn't just refreshing, it's a signal of professionalism. Look at CEOs like Satya Nadella of Microsoft, always crisp because he's selling himself as much as his company. Meanwhile, skipping that morning rinse can tank your personal and professional life without you even realizing it. The ripple effects are real. If people don't want to be around you, your relationships suffer. Friends drift, dating gets harder, and job opportunities dry up. In lower-income communities, access to hot water or private bathrooms isn't always a given. A 2021 HUD report estimated 10% of U.S. households under the poverty line lack full plumbing. But even when it's available, the habit lags. Contrast that with the rich, who often tie hygiene to routine. Tony Robbins, the self-help guru, starts his day with a cold plunge, not just for energy, but to set a tone of discipline. A shower's not just about getting clean, it's a mental reset, a way to step into the day ready to win. There's a health angle too. Regular washing cuts your risk of infections. Skin issues like dermatitis or even colds spread faster when you're not rinsing off germs. The CDC notes that poor hygiene contributes to higher illness rates in disadvantaged groups, meaning more missed work and medical bills. For the wealthy, staying healthy is a priority. They can't afford downtime. Part 7. Poor people blame others. A stark contrast between those with less money and the wealthy is how they handle setbacks. Poorer individuals often point fingers outward, while the rich take ownership. If you're struggling financially, it's easy to pin your situation on someone or something else. The economy's tanking, your boss is a jerk, the government's rigged, or your town's got no opportunities. A 2021 Gallup poll found that 65% of Americans earning under $40,000 blame external factors, like bad luck or unfair systems, for their financial woes, compared to just 30% of those making over $100,000. It's a coping mechanism. Shifting responsibility feels better than facing hard truths. But the wealthy, they see failure as their own to fix. When Jeff Bezos lost $38 billion in his divorce, he didn't rant about the courts. He doubled down on Amazon and kept building. This blame game isn't just talk. It shapes your life. When you decide your problems are someone else's fault, you give up control. If it's the system holding you back, why bother trying? That mindset keeps you stuck. A 2019 study from the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology showed that people who externalize blame have lower motivation and worse outcomes, less likely to seek new jobs or take risks. Wealthy folks flip the script. They assume 99% of their life is on them. Elon Musk doesn't whine about regulators. He finds workarounds, like moving Tesla's HQ from California to Texas. It's not about denying real obstacles, it's about focusing on what you can change. Life's not what happens, it's how you react. The habit runs deep. Poor individuals might vent about a lazy coworker costing them a promotion or a landlord jacking up rent. And sure, those things suck, but dwelling on them doesn't pay the bills. The rich analyze instead. Why'd this happen? How'd I miss it? What's my next move? A 2023 Harvard Business Review piece highlighted that top executives spend 20% of their time reflecting on failures to learn, not lament. Take Oprah. Born dirt poor, she could have blamed racism or poverty forever. Instead, she clawed her way up, owning every step. Blaming others might feel good short term, but it's a trap. Rich people grow from pain, while the poor just stew in it. There's a power shift here too. When you stop blaming, you start acting. Maybe your job's dead end, don't curse the manager, upskill and bounce. A 2020 LinkedIn report found self-starters who take charge of their career paths earn 15% more over time. The wealthy know this. They don't wait for a handout or a hero. They study the game, adapt, and win. Look at Sarah Blakely, Spanx's founder. She turned $5 into billions by refusing to let rejection stop her. If you're caught in the blame cycle, try this. Next time something flops, write down one thing you could have done better. It's not about guilt. It's about grabbing the reins. That's how you go from victim to victor. Part 8. Poor people save nothing. A major divide between those with limited funds and the wealthy is their approach to saving. Poorer individuals often have little to no money set aside, while the rich make it a habit. For someone scraping by, saving can feel impossible. Every paycheck's eaten up by rent, groceries, or unexpected car repairs. A 2022 Federal Reserve survey found that 37% of Americans couldn't cover a $400 emergency without borrowing or selling something, and that number spikes among lower-income households. Living paycheck to paycheck leaves no cushion, so when trouble hits, like a medical bill or a broken fridge, you're scrambling. The wealthy, though, they've got reserves. Warren Buffett's not sweating a flat tire. He's got millions stashed, built from years of socking away more than he spends. This isn't just about having more to start with, it's a mindset. Poor folks often focus on surviving today, not preparing for tomorrow. A 2021 study from the Urban Institute showed that only 25% of households earning under $30,000 have any savings. The flip side's even more telling: opportunities. If a cheap property pops up, or a business idea needs seed cash, the wealthy can pounce. They've got the funds ready. The poor, they're sidelined, watching the chance slip by. A 2020 Census Bureau analysis found that households with savings are 3 times more likely to invest in assets like stocks or real estate, widening the wealth gap. Look at Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank. He preaches keeping a cash buffer, saying it's why he could jump on deals others missed. Without that nest egg, you're not just vulnerable, you're stuck. The rich get richer because they're positioned to strike when it counts. Why don't poorer folks save? Sometimes it's circumstance. Minimum wage barely covers basics, with the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics noting 40% of workers under $15 an hour live hand to mouth. But habits matter too. Small expenses, daily coffees, impulse buys, drain what could be a safety net. The rich cut that fat early. Jeff Bezos drove a beat-up Honda even after Amazon took off, banking the difference. Start small if you're broke. $5 a week in a jar. A 2019 MIT study showed even tiny savings habits build momentum, boosting financial confidence by 20%. It's not sexy, but it's power. Money saved today is freedom tomorrow. Part 9. Poor people misuse credit. A clear distinction between those with less money and the wealthy lies in how they handle credit. Poorer individuals often use it for frivolous purchases, while the rich wield it as a strategic tool. For someone strapped for cash, a credit card can feel like a lifeline, swiping for a new iPhone, a Supreme hoodie, or a big screen TV when the bank account's dry. A 2022 Consumer Financial Protection Bureau report found that households earning under $50,000 carry 30% more credit card debt relative to income than those over $100,000, often for non-essential items. The appeal's obvious: instant gratification without the wait. But the catch? That $1,000 TV balloons to $1,300 with interest, chaining you to payments that drain future earnings. The wealthy, meanwhile, only borrow for investments. Think Mark Cuban taking a loan to buy a stake in a company, not a gaming console. This isn't just about discipline, it's about purpose. Poor folks often see credit as a way to bridge gaps or flex a lifestyle they can't afford yet. A 2021 NerdWallet survey showed 45% of low-income cardholders use credit for wants, like clothes or gadgets, versus 15% of high earners who lean toward needs or profit-driven bets. The rule's simple. If it doesn't make more money than it costs, don't finance it. Rich people get this. Jeff Bezos didn't build Amazon by maxing out cards on personal toys. He used debt to scale warehouses. Misusing credit traps you in a cycle. Minimum payments eat your budget, credit scores tank, and borrowing gets pricier. A 2023 Experian study said 40% of sub-600 credit score holders, mostly lower income, pay 20% plus interest, while the rich snag 5% loans for business moves. The consequences hit hard. That impulsive purchase today means less cash tomorrow. FICO data shows average credit card debt for low-income Americans tops $6,000, with 25% falling delinquent. Wealthy folks dodge this. They earn first, then spend. Take Sarah Blakely. She bootstrapped Spanx with savings, not loans, keeping control. Poor credit use also dings your options. Want a mortgage or a car later? Good luck with a trashed score. The rich leverage credit's upside. A 2020 Federal Reserve analysis found high earners use 70% of their borrowing for assets like property, doubling their wealth over a decade. Lower earners, just 20% goes to investments, leaving them stuck. Why the misuse? Partly access. Poorer folks face predatory lenders pushing high-rate cards, per a 2022 CFPB warning. But habits play in too. Swiping feels empowering until the bill lands. The fix? Only charge what grows your bottom line, like a course or equipment for a gig. A 2019 Ramsey Solutions study found people who ditch consumer debt save 15% more long-term. Start by earning that $500 for a phone, not financing it. Delayed gratification builds wealth, not shackles. Part 10. Poor people have more kids. Early. One striking difference between those with less money and the wealthy is family planning. Poorer individuals tend to have more children and start earlier, while the rich delay and limit theirs. For many in lower income brackets, kids arrive in their teens or 20s, often before financial stability kicks in. A 2022 Census Bureau report found that women in households earning under $30,000 average 2.5 kids, with 40% born to moms under 25. Compare that to those over $100,000 averaging 1.7 kids, mostly born after 30. It's not just numbers. Timing matters. Raising a child in the U.S. costs about $310 from birth to 18 per a 2023 USDA estimate, and that's without college. For someone scraping by, that's a mountain. Diapers, formula, daycare, all piling up when income's already stretched. Wealthy folks approach this differently. They wait, often until their careers or businesses are solid, ensuring they can give their kids top-tier education, healthcare, and opportunities. Think of someone like Bill Gates. He and Melinda had their first kid in their late 30s, after Microsoft was a juggernaut. It's strategic. Delay means more resources to invest per child. A 2021 Pew Research study showed high-income parents spend 50% more per kid on enrichment, tutors, sports, travel than low-income ones, setting up a cycle of advantage. Early parenthood, though, can lock poorer folks into survival mode, working extra shifts to cover rent instead of climbing the ladder. A 2020 Urban Institute analysis found teen moms earn 20% less over their lifetimes, stuck juggling childcare and low-wage jobs. Why the trend? Education and environment play huge roles. Lower-income communities often lack access to contraception or comprehensive sex ed. Guttmacher Institute data shows 30% of poor teens get no formal birth control info. Cultural factors kick in too. Having kids young can be a norm, a source of pride, or just an accident that sticks. Meanwhile, the rich prioritize building first. A 2022 National Bureau of Economic Research paper found college grads delay parenthood by 5 years on average, banking degrees and savings. Look at Beyoncé. She waited until 30, post-music empire, to start her family, with Jay-Z's wealth as a backbone. Early kids don't doom you, but they make the climb steeper. Every dollar's split more ways. The fallout's brutal. More mouths to feed early means less wiggle room, savings vanish, emergencies hit harder, and dreams get shelved. A 2019 Brookings study said single moms under 25 are 5 times more likely to stay poor than childless peers. Wealthy parents, though, they've got nannies, private schools, and time to keep earning. It's not about judging, it's math. If you're young and broke, 1 kid's tough, 3's a marathon. The fix? Plan if you can. Wait until you're steady. A 2023 CDC report showed contraception use cuts unplanned births by 60%, freeing up years to stack cash. Kids are a joy, but timing them right can keep you from sinking. Part 11. Poor people skip health checks. A significant difference between those with less money and the wealthy is their approach to medical care. Poorer individuals often skip regular doctor visits, while the rich stay on top of their health. For someone tight on cash, checkups feel like a luxury. Why spend $50 on a copay when nothing's obviously wrong? Skipping checks isn't just penny pinching, it's a gamble. Catch a disease like cancer early, and treatment's cheaper and more effective. The American Cancer Society says early-stage breast cancer costs $20,000 to treat, with a 99% survival rate. Late-stage jumps to $100,000 plus, with odds dropping to 30%. Poor folks often roll the dice, finding out too late. 45% of uninsured adults delay care until symptoms scream, per a 2021 Commonwealth Fund report. Wealthy people don't wait. Routine blood work or a colonoscopy might bore someone like Oprah, but she's not risking a surprise diagnosis derailing her empire. Prevention's their edge. Staying ahead of problems keeps them productive. The stakes are higher than money. Neglect your health, and it's not just you who pays. Your family's hit too. A 2020 CDC study showed low-income households lose 25% more workdays to untreated illness, spiraling into missed rent or bigger debts. Imagine diabetes creeping up unchecked. By the time you're limping to the ER, it's $10,000 in bills, and maybe a lost foot. The rich dodge this. A 2023 Harvard Medical School survey found high earners get 50% more preventive screenings, cutting chronic disease rates by 20%. They've got the means, private doctors, flexible schedules, but also the mindset, health fuels wealth. Look at Dwayne Johnson. He's not skipping his annual checkup. He's too busy dominating Hollywood. Why the gap? Access is brutal, Medicaid's spotty, and free clinics are swamped. A 2022 Health Affairs analysis said 15% of poor adults live over 30 miles from a doctor versus 2% of the rich. But habits matter too. Some see checkups as pointless until pain hits. The fix? Prioritize what you can. A $20 thermometer or a walk-in clinic beats a $5,000 hospital stay. A 2019 RAND study found every dollar on prevention saves $5 later. Math the wealthy live by. You don't need a gold-plated stethoscope, just a calendar reminder. 1 visit a year could keep you from losing everything. Part 12. Poor people spend before earning. A critical difference between those with less money and the wealthy is how they manage spending. Poorer individuals often commit to expenses before they have the cash, while the rich wait until they've earned it. For someone on a tight budget, it's tempting to buy now and figure it out later. Maybe signing up for a car payment or grabbing a new couch on a no money down deal. Wealthy people play it differently. They earn first, spend second. Take Warren Buffett. He famously lived in the same modest Omaha house for decades, only buying what his bankroll could handle outright. It's not about being cheap, it's about control. Spending before you earn puts you at the mercy of creditors. Miss a payment, and interest or late fees pile up. The consequences bite hard. Pre-spending locks you into a cycle, bills stack up, stress spikes, and you're working to pay yesterday's choices, not tomorrow's dreams. A 2020 Consumer Financial Protection Bureau analysis said 50% of low-income borrowers default on buy now, pay later plans, tanking credit scores and future loans. Wealthy folks sidestep this by living below their means. Think Mark Cuban driving a $40,000 Jeep even after his first million. They know unearned spending's a sinkhole. Commit to a $500 car note without the cash, and you're not just broke, you're chained. A 2019 Bankrate survey found 60% of overspenders can't save, while disciplined earners sock away 15% of income. Why do poorer folks fall into this? Partly necessity. Bills don't wait, and wages stagnate. BLS data shows low-end pay rose just 2% from 2020-2023, but habits feed it too. Impulse buys or keeping up appearances drain fast. A 2022 Journal of Consumer Research study said low-income shoppers are 30% more likely to splurge on status items, chasing a fleeting boost. The fix? Flip the script. If you can't pay cash, you can't afford it. Start small, save $50 before that next gadget. A 2021 MIT study found delaying purchases by a month cuts overspending by 20%. It's not sexy, but it's freedom. Earning first keeps you ahead, not drowning. Part 13. Poor people surround themselves with poor people. One telling difference between those with less money and the wealthy is who they spend time with. Poorer individuals often stick close to others in similar financial straits, while the rich seek out ambitious, successful peers. For someone struggling, it's natural to hang with folks who get it. Friends from the old neighborhood, co-workers at the same grind, or family facing the same bills. A 2021 Pew Research study found that 60% of people earning under $35,000 primarily socialize with others at or below their income level. It's comfort. Shared struggles mean no judgment over a busted car or a late rent check. But it's also a trap. Surrounding yourself with people who reinforce your current reality can keep you there, echoing the same doubts or habits that hold you back. Wealthy folks curate their circle differently. They gravitate toward those who push them up. Think of someone like Elon Musk. He's not chilling with high school buddies swapping complaints. He's brainstorming with tech moguls or rocket scientists. It's not snobbery, it's strategy. A 2020 Harvard Business Review study showed that your closest 5 contacts heavily shape your income and mindset. Hang with dreamers who settle, and you'll settle too. The rich know this. They seek mentors, partners, or friends who've already cracked the code. Look at Oprah. She leaned on powerhouses like Maya Angelou early on, soaking up wisdom that fueled her rise. Poor circles, though, often breed stagnation. Conversations about surviving, not thriving, can drown out bigger ideas. This dynamic has real consequences. If your crew's stuck on blaming the system or mocking tryhards, it's harder to break out. A 2022 Stanford study found that low-income individuals with wealthier connections, like a boss or neighbor, boost their earnings by 20% over a decade, just from exposure to new ideas or opportunities. But stay in an echo chamber, you're recycling the same limits. Wealthy people dodge this. They'll ditch toxic ties without blinking. Take Sarah Blakely. She said she cut out naysayers when building Spanx, choosing cheerleaders over critics. Poor folks might cling to loyalty, but that can mean loyalty to struggle. Friends who mock your side hustle or scoff at ambition aren't rooting for you, they're anchoring you. Why the pattern? Partly circumstance, poverty clusters, geographically and socially. A 2023 census report said 40% of low-income Americans live in high-poverty areas, so your neighbors, schools, and bars are often in the same boat. But choice matters too. Stepping into new circles feels risky, like betraying roots. The wealthy embrace that discomfort. A 2019 LinkedIn survey found high earners network outside their comfort zone 50% more often. The fix? Start small. Join a free online group, hit a local business meetup, or follow one inspiring person on X. A 2021 Journal of Social Psychology study said even one ambitious friend raises your drive by 15%. Your crew shapes your ceiling. Pick people who lift it, not lower it. Part 14. Poor people abandon their ideas. A profound difference between those with less money and the wealthy is how they handle their dreams. Poorer individuals often let their ideas fizzle out, while the rich follow through relentlessly. For someone strapped for cash, starting a project feels daunting. Maybe it's a business plan, a book, or a skill like coding. Life gets in the way. Long shifts, family needs, or just not knowing where to start. A 2022 Small Business Administration report found that 60% of low-income Americans with entrepreneurial ideas never launch, citing time or money as blockers. Contrast that with the wealthy. They act. Take Jeff Bezos. He quit a cushy job to start Amazon from his garage, grinding through years of losses. Poor folks might brainstorm brilliance, but abandon it when the first hurdle hits. This isn't about talent. Everyone's got 24 hours a day, but execution. A 2021 Gallup survey showed only 20% of people earning under $40,000 actively pursue a passion project. The cost of quitting is steep. An unlaunched idea is a zero. No risk, no reward. A 2023 Census Bureau analysis said 70% of self-made millionaires built wealth through businesses they stuck with, while non-starters stay broke. Imagine a poor kid with a killer app concept. Without follow-through, it's nothing. With it, it's TikTok. The rich grind it out. J.K. Rowling wrote Harry Potter on welfare, rejected 12 times, but didn't quit. Poor folks often lack that runway, bills loom, and dreaming feels selfish. A 2019 Journal of Economic Psychology study found low-income dreamers drop 40% more goals due to urgent distractions, while the rich shield their focus. Why the drop-off? Resources play a role. Poverty means less access to mentors, tools, or free time. A 2022 Pew report said 45% of poor adults can't afford basic startup costs like a laptop. But mindset's key too. Fear of failure or ridicule freezes action. The wealthy push past. Walt Disney was bankrupt before Mickey Mouse, but kept drawing. The fix? Start tiny. Write one page, code one line, test one sale. A 2021 MIT study found micro steps triple completion rates. You can't control your birthplace, but you can control your hustle, follow through, and that idea might be your ticket out. Part 15. Poor people expect help to succeed. A final key difference between those with less money and the wealthy is their view on success. Poorer individuals often believe others should lift them up, while the rich rely on themselves. For someone struggling, it's easy to feel the world owes you a break. Maybe a rich uncle, a government program, or a lucky boss should hand you the keys. This isn't about pride, it's reality. The world doesn't owe anyone a dime, and expecting a handout keeps you passive. A 2021 Stanford study showed people who wait for assistance earn 20% less over a decade than self-starters. Relying on others stalls your drive. Wealthy folks don't bank on miracles. Oprah didn't expect a network to gift her a show. She pitched, fought, and built it. Poor individuals might cling to, if only I had connections, capital, a break. A 2020 Gallup survey found 40% of low-income workers feel entitled to aid, while high earners focus on creating their own shots. The rich know success rewards the relentless, not the expectant. The fallout's clear. Waiting for help wastes time. Years spent hoping instead of hustling. A 2023 census report said self-made millionaires average 10 years of solo grind before a big win, like Sarah Blakely sewing Spanx prototypes herself. Poor folks might lean on excuses. I'd succeed if someone gave me a chance. But chances aren't given, they're taken. A 2019 Journal of Personality study found proactive people, those who act, not ask, boost income by 15% more. Wealthy icons like Dwayne Johnson didn't beg Hollywood, he muscled in, turning wrestling fame into movie gold. Expecting rescue keeps you a spectator. Making moves makes you a player. Why the disconnect? Poverty breeds dependence. Systems like welfare, while vital, can condition waiting over working, per a 2022 Heritage Foundation analysis showing 30% of recipients delay job hunts. Why the disconnect? poverty breeds dependence. Systems like welfare, while vital, can condition waiting overworking, per a 2022 Heritage Foundation analysis showing 30% of recipients delay job hunts. But mindset shifts it. The rich adapt, learn, and charge ahead. A 2021 LinkedIn study said high earners seek solutions 50% more than aid. The fix? Own your path. Start with what you've got, even if it's just grit. A 2020 MIT experiment found self-reliant goal setters succeed 25% faster. No one's coming to save you, but you can. Every step forward proves it. Part 16, Poor People Chase. Get Rich. Quick schemes. One habit that sets poor folks apart from the wealthy is their tendency to fall for get-rich-quick schemes, while the rich build wealth slowly and deliberately. For someone with little cash, the allure of instant riches is powerful. Think multi-level marketing, MLM pitches, shady crypto investments, or online ads promising millions from a $99 course. A 2023 Federal Trade Commission report found that low-income Americans' wealthy people don't bite. They know wealth takes time. Warren Buffett built his fortune over decades, compounding investments at 20% annually, not chasing overnight jackpots. A 2020 Harvard Business Review analysis found 85% of self-made millionaires attribute success to consistent effort, not shortcuts. Scams prey on desperation. Poor folks stretch thin, see a $500 opportunity as a lifeline, not a sinkhole. The FTC says victims lose $1.2 billion yearly to these traps, with low-income zip codes hit hardest. Rich folks dodge this by researching. A 2022 Fidelity survey showed high earners spend 30% more time vetting deals, favoring index funds or real estate over hype. Patience pays. Buffett's $1,000 in the 1950s is $100 million today. No pyramid scheme required. The fallout's brutal. Chasing quick cash drains savings and hope, $200 blown on a drop-shipping guru could have bought a skill course with real returns. A 2019 Better Business Bureau report said 70% of scam victims feel shame, stalling their drive further. Wealthy icons like Oprah took the long road. She hustled through local TV, not some miracle system. Poor folks often lack the buffer to recover. A 2023 census study found 40% of low-income households have under $100 saved, so losses cut deep. The rich bet on systems, compound interest, steady ventures, while the poor bet on luck. A 2021 Journal of Consumer Research study said shortcut seekers earn 25% less long-term. The fix? Skip the hype. $50 in a savings app beats a secret formula. Slow wins. Part 17. Poor people overuse social media. Another divide is how poorer individuals overuse social media, while the rich limit it to purpose-driven tasks. For those with less money, platforms like TikTok, Instagram, or Facebook are time vacuums. Scrolling memes, watching dance videos, or arguing in comments. Wealthy people use social media differently. They're strategic. Bill Gates isn't doom scrolling, he's not even on X much, preferring books or boardrooms. A 2021 LinkedIn survey found high earners spend 70% of their online time building contacts or brands. Think Elon Musk tweeting to hype Tesla, not to rant. For the poor, it's escapism. A 2020 Psychology Today study linked excessive use to stress relief in low-income groups, but it's a trap. Hours vanish with no gain. The rich cap it. A 2022 Stanford analysis said top executives average under an hour daily, treating it like a tool, not a toy. Meanwhile, poor folks rack up 1-200 hours yearly, 50 full days, liking posts that don't pay bills. The cost is steep. Overuse fries focus. A 2019 University of California study found heavy scrolling cuts productivity by 20%, tanking work or side hustles. Wealthy folks like Jeff Bezos avoid this. He said he skips distractions to think big. Social media also peddles comparison. A 2023 Pew report said 45% of low-income users feel worse seeing rich lifestyles, sapping motivation. The rich don't care. They're too busy making moves. Poor overuse stems from boredom or isolation. HUD data shows 30% of low-income homes lack recreational options. The fix? Cut an hour daily, swap reels for a podcast. A 2021 MIT study said mindful tech use boosts income potential by 15%. Scroll less, stack more. Part 18. Poor people cling to dead-end jobs. poorer individuals often cling to dead-end jobs, while the rich jump ship for growth. Low-income workers, think retail clerks, fast food cooks, or call center reps, stick around despite no raises or future. Wealthy people don't settle, they leap. Steve Jobs ditched a safe Atari gig to start Apple, betting on himself. A 2020 Harvard study said high earners switch jobs 30% more often, chasing skills or equity, not just paychecks. Staying put locks poor folks in. A 2022 census analysis found long-term low-wage workers earn 25% less over a lifetime than job hoppers. The rich see roles as stepping stones. Mark Cuban bounced from bartending to software sales, building chops. Dead-end jobs sap time and spirit. A 2019 Gallup poll said 70% of low-income workers feel disengaged, just punching clocks while dreams rot. The trap's deep. Quitting's scary when you're broke. A 2023 Fed survey said 40% of low earners can't miss a paycheck. Employers exploit this. Walmart's median wage barely budged in a decade, per 2022 Oxfam data. Wealthy folks have cushions, savings, or networks to pivot. A 2021 LinkedIn study found high earners use 50% more training to leapfrog. Poor workers, just 10%. Clinging costs, missed raises, skills, or sanity. The fix? Plan an exit. Learn one skill online, like Excel, and test the market. A 2020 RAND study said job switches boost pay 15% in 2 years. Stagnation's the real risk, not change. Part 19. Poor people hoard. Junk poorer folks often hoard useless stuff, while the rich keep their spaces lean. Low-income homes pile up broken TVs, old clothes, or thrift store deals they never use. Wealthy people declutter ruthlessly. Marie Kondo's gospel resonates with them. Jeff Bezos reportedly keeps his office sparse, focusing on essentials. A 2020 minimalism cohort study found high earners own 40% fewer items, valuing quality over quantity. Hoarding wastes space and headspace. A 2019 UCLA study linked clutter to 25% higher stress in poor homes, fogging focus for work or goals. The rich buy once, buy well. A $200 chair lasts a decade. A $20 Walmart special breaks in a year, clogging the garage. Poor folks grab bargains. A 2023 Consumer Reports survey said 50% of low-income shoppers stockpile sales, even if useless. The mess compounds. Cluttered homes sap energy. A 2021 Psychology Today piece said it cuts productivity by 15%, hitting poor workers harder. Wealthy folks like Oprah keep pristine setups, freeing mental bandwidth. Poverty fuels this. A 2022 HUD report said 35% of low-income rentals lack storage, so junk stacks up. The rich outsource or purge, think hired organizers. A 2019 Forbes survey said 60% of millionaires simplify yearly. The fix? Ditch 5 things weekly. Sell, donate, trash. A 2020 Yale study found decluttering lifts mood 20%, clearing room for progress. Less junk, more juice. Part 20. Poor people gossip. Excessively poorer individuals often gossip more, while the rich keep chatter productive. For those with less, spilling tea about neighbors, coworkers, or celebs is a pastime. A 2022 YouGov poll found 55% of adults under $35,000 gossip daily. Wealthy folks talk strategy, not scandals. Warren Buffett's not dissecting Kim Kardashian's divorce. He's dissecting balance sheets with Charlie Munger. A 2020 Harvard study found high earners spend 60% of conversations on ideas or deals, not rumors. Gossip's a distraction. A 2019 University of Amsterdam analysis said it cuts focus by 20%. Worse for poor folks already stretched thin. The rich network. Think Elon Musk hashing plans at dinner, not dirt. Poor gossip spikes in tight circles. A 2023 census report said 50% of low-income adults live near family or old friends, fueling the loop. It's escape, not elevation. The habit stings. Gossip breeds negativity. A 2021 Psychology Today study linked it to 15% lower self-esteem, hitting poor morale harder. Wealthy icons like Beyoncé dodge it, channeling energy into albums or ventures. A 2022 Pew survey said 45% of low-income gossipers feel stuck, versus 10% of rich strategizers. The rich prune talk. A 2019 LinkedIn study found top execs avoid idle chat 50% more. The fix: shift one chat weekly to goals. Swap "she said" for "what's next." A 2020 MIT study said productive talk boosts ambition 25%. Words shape worlds. Make yours count.